And good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening. Good to have you here. Paul Trani, reporting for duty. Actually, this is going to be a lot of fun. We're going to make some Winter Wonderland. We're going to make some ice and some snowflakes, how to freeze things, how to create snow, all sorts of things. So it's going to be a lot of fun Photoshop Masterclass tips and techniques that you may or may not be aware of. And just want to welcome you, Sean, Livingston, Wade, what's up? Richard, awesome. Harry, I see you over there on Facebook. Thanks for joining me from all over this wonderful frozen green earth, I guess. So hopefully everybody's doing well. I'm here in, back in Denver. Just spent some time up in the mountains. So I'm all ready to make a winter wonderland in my lumberjack shirt. That's right, Sean. All right, so let's just kind of jump on in. And again, if you're just joining us, or just say hi, everybody. I just want to make this a conversation, and this will be a lot of fun. So I'm going to kind of start out. I do have some images, right, and some things I'm going to work with. Then we're going to freeze, and we're going to make it just look amazing is the idea. Okay, I could actually start with some, if I just drop this over here, start with some gradients. As you know me, this is just a good way to just kind of get it started in terms of just the color palette, of course, is going to be cool, right? But we could also, doesn't mean that it has to be cold the whole time. Like, we can make a winter wonderland by manipulating the color. So we'll get into that as well. Also, I want to freeze some photos as well. Okay, so we can kind of go in here. We can try these different colors out, of course, a number of them. I'm going to go just with a nice, nice blue, something like that will work out well. All right. Yeah, let's do this. Merry Christmas, Clarissa. Good to have you here. So here I just have an image, by the way. I just went through and I searched through my libraries, to be honest with you. But through, of course, this libraries panel, you can search libraries and pull that out like so. You can see the number of things that I've actually searched on. But I can jump into, say, nature, for instance. I want to do this drop down right in here. So you can see a number of my searches that I've done. I could search through all my libraries, but I'll do this drop down. I can search Adobe stock. So in here, I can say, just type in winter. Right, let's just try that and serve up. Of course, all the images, they give you winter. Loving that one. That one's sweet. And this is what I mean when I say, you know what? It's like winter doesn't have to be cold. You can actually make it warm. But here's just some general backgrounds that we see right in here. And we can license it, or we can just save a preview. Right, it's going to save to my current library. We see it right down there. We can drop that in like so. You guys get the idea. Okay, I'm going to show you guys, Frank and Alexander, you guys probably know about this as well, but we have a whole new plugins panel that we can review. And guess what? You can browse additional plugins, because these are the plugins that I currently have loaded on my desktop. So you can see some Stock Search Pro. I just have some basic ones, but let's go to the plugins panel really fast. Taking a look right in here, we have two different ones that I've been using. What's interesting about this is they're all pulling from the same research. So I'll do free Stock Search 2, and I'll just search for winter. Boom. It's going to search for all photos, and then we see some free assets, say from Unsplash, that we can use. So clicking right there, there's the image. Let's just copy it, paste it into here, and then we have just a free asset. Interesting part about this is, this is cool. These are a lot of images that you'll just see a lot of around the web. So I think typically when you're using free assets, everybody recognizes them as free assets, in my opinion. Have you ever seen pictures of people that have been painted trees to look invisible? I have not, Samuel. That actually sounds really pretty cool. I've seen like sort of camouflage artists that will paint somebody and make them disappear even though there's a setting in front of them. If you've ever seen Skin Wars, that's an awesome show. but I'm kind of into this image as well. So just drop this in, zip, zip, right? And now you're aware of these free images that you can use. By the way, if I use Solo, there it is. I'll do search for winter. Guess what's gonna happen? I'm gonna get a lot of the same images, I betcha. Maybe not in the same order. Oh, there's that bubble. Let's open up this one. Oh, look, there's that bubble. So you start seeing these same images everywhere. Oh, there's these pins and needles or whatever. Excuse me, these needles from a tree. It's basically like an evergreen tree. We could drop that in. Oh, that's pretty cool as well. Anyway, you guys get the idea. I'm gonna make some snowflakes and we'll freeze some things. Do you make a collage art or realistic composite, Fairy? We could do whatever you want. I was gonna do something like a little bit more abstract because I'm thinking I can go ahead and grab like a hand. So let's do that really fast. Let's grab this like hand right here, and we'll have an abstract background with some text that we're gonna freeze. So I wanna just take an image, for instance, and freeze this hand, right? Just for fun, right? I do want to show you this. When I dropped this in, what happened? This hand is not like perfectly vertical, right? We could see, I could try to go in here and like, try to get it, right? Your properties panel, if we take a look to the side, here we see, oh, it's 91 degrees. You know, let's make it a -90. I'm not talking temperature, but now it's like standing sort of straight up. All right, so there we have that. Guess what? I'm gonna rasterize this layer. Boom, let's rasterize it. Hey, you know what? Let's remove that background. Ready? Shabam. There we have the background removed. We'll have some fun with this. Thank you for that, Samuel. Sorry I can't click on that right now, but I'm live streaming. Harry's asking some questions. Yeah, so, and Randy mentioned something as well, so we could totally do that. Randy mentions sort of like, we will make some custom snowflakes and we can add those as a whole lot of depth and have some fun with it. Totally get what you're saying, Randy, in terms of depth of field with snowflakes. Totally game, right? We could go more abstract. Again, we have this hand right here, right? We could freeze it, right? So that's one thing we're gonna do. And then we're also gonna take some text. So let's jump in here and just type in. Give me somebody else's initials. Talk to me, who we gonna do? We'll do Samuel Santos, I guess. SS. That's what we'll go with. Zoop. There we are. We'll take this. Of course, this letter. We're gonna go with sort of a serif. So let's jump in here, make this a serif, right? Because I want these elegant little spikes on it, right? Like that. So we'll go big castle on. There we have S. And we could do this with everybody's names. Command J just to jump that. I'm not sure how this is going to turn out, but we will find out. Livingston. All right, LM. Good. That's what I'm looking for. I need some vertical lines. So LM as well. Like so. There's LM. And we can start just playing with some of these letters. I'll take them like so. Shrink them down, right? And then we'll have FU. Yeah. Fury. F. I was not cussing there. And this is what I would do with this. Is I would take this and I'd make some of these longer. So sorry, I'm trying to hustle as fast as we can, but we are making a snowflake right now, just so you know. Let's grab all these letters, make them all white, like that, right? We're going to be most successful with like maybe an F and a U, an L and an M as well. But let's take some of these. Let's take this L. We're going to stretch it out. Why not? Work it, Paul, work it. We're going to go I'm going to try to go as fast as I can, taking this, cutting it, not copying it, cutting it, holding down the Shift key, extending that up. We'll just grab this part, holding down the Command Option, right? We'll duplicate it and then Shift as well. And by the way, we can do a Command T, stretch it out, hold down the Shift key, and it stretch that up like that. So there we have our L, right? This is going to be part of our snowflake. So L, M, F, U, and we'll just see how this turns out, shall we? Is everybody having a good day, huh? We are so close to Christmas. I don't know if you guys celebrate Christmas or not, but yeah, I do. Why not? All of these have to be connected, and let's take all of these elements and selecting them all, we're going to convert them all to a smart object. Boom, there we are. LMVA, Valentius Williams. This is fun. So I made this a smart object. I could change this at any time, which will be nice, right? So we have this as a smart object. I kind of want to have a couple different versions. And yeah, I just want to play with this. Command J to jump. Let's go ahead and do this. Now that we know about the properties panel, it gives us all of those various properties, right? We can rotate this. We can hold down the Shift key and snap it. We can see I've snapped it about every 30 degrees, right? Oh, so sorry I keep on moving this thing around. Command J, right? Take this back to 0, for instance. Now it's straight up. In fact, let's rotate this over some more. What is this? Another 30 degrees on the other side, so a total of 60 degrees. And cool thing is this is a smart object, so we get to change this anytime we want. I love Christmas too. Oh yeah, it's good. Command J. All right, here is something else we can do. I still need to keep this editable. That's the thing, right? I still need to keep this editable. So that's kind of what I'm working on, right? Let's just do this dance. Wait for it. Straighten this out like that. We're going to edit these in a little bit, so not to worry. Rotate that one 45 degrees. Command J. Hurry up. I got to hurry up. I have work to do. Let's jump in here and let's edit this. This has some editing that I need to do to it. Change the canvas size. 600. Right, we're gonna make this nice and long. We'll get this L, we'll pull it down. We have Livingston in here. Let's take this M, let's rasterize it. Everything is gonna be connected. All right. Pulling that down, and we're just making a fun word mark. Before, what I did earlier is I actually duplicated or copied that segment. I can actually just select that segment, Command T, stretch it down, just holding down the Shift key, right? So I don't need to necessarily make a different layer like I did earlier. Oh. All right. Why not? Let's throw an S maybe down here and an L like that. There we go. Saving it, closing it. so far what I have for my snowflake. Let's take some of these elements and rotate them some more. There we go. Got it. This actually still needs a lot of work. I actually might grab a snowflake that I have in Illustrator. I hope you guys don't think that's cheating, right? Turn that off. They're all rotated the correct direction, but it's still kind of messy because it's not a perfect circle. Yeah, hopefully you guys like this. I would probably, so the thing it's missing is it's missing sort of traditional snowflake elements, right? So what I can do is still use that same panel, jump out here, go to my libraries panel, snowflakes. I happen to have some in here that I could use. Let's grab this one, right? Where did I get it? Adobe stock, right? This is actually done in Illustrator, so I'll just double click on it. It'll open it up in Illustrator. Grab this piece like so, right? And drop it back in here if I want to. Let's paste it in here as a shape layer. When I paste it in as a shape layer, I can control the color a little bit easier. And here's sort of the snowflake that I could use as my template. All right, let's move along. Canvas. I'm going to change the canvas size. So it is perfectly square. There we go. It's going to be much easier to work with, right? Could take this down, snap it into place, and start using these different letters. All right, everyone. It's a little bit of a mess. But it works for me, sure. Yeah, I think I can spend a much longer amount of time messing with this. And really, I just want to get to creating these snowflakes because I need to make a whole scene and I need to freeze a number of more things. All right, so we'll just leave it as is like this, right? We'll take all these elements. Let's get rid of that one, right? We take this and convert it to a smart object and we can start manipulating it that way. That's one way of doing things, right? We have this snowflake. Zoop. We can start playing with it and dropping it at different places. It's okay. Right. Let's double click on this because really there's a lot going on here. In fact, these letters, there's almost too many, to be honest with you. So I'll worry about that later. Let's just take this for now. And let's just invert it. And heck, let's do this. Let's just jump in here. We're going to make this a brush really fast. Going in there, selecting that. Define brush preset. Snowflake. There we are. Turning that off. Getting back into our winter scene with a new layer. And now we have our snowflake, as you can see. Let's make it white. Bop, bop, bop. There we go. Let's make our wonderful winter wonderland by opening up our brushes. I have a lot of vectors. So that's the thing. Like, honestly, like, you actually might have vectors of snowflakes that you've made. I was hoping that there would be some in Photoshop right up here in part of your custom shapes. I could have swore there was a snowflake in here at one point in time. Anyways, I don't see one, but I could just be like blind to it. I'm not seeing it right now. And that's okay. right? Anyways, wanted to make my own. As you saw, we will hit B for brush. Here's the current brush that I'm working on. Let's space it out, right? Let's change the size of these as well. So let's shrink it down. Shape dynamic, yeah. Let's change up the size, right? We have the minimum diameter we can work with. We can work on the angle, so they're all gonna rotate a little bit. Don't need to worry about the roundness. But let's definitely scatter these guys. Scattering them around like so. Yeah, you get the idea. We'll keep this pretty light, drag this over here, and now we can start playing with this. Let's actually brushed. Okay. All right. Let's just try this right now. There's our snowflake. I'm going to crank up the size, right? We can go ahead and scatter that around everywhere, as we can see here. Let's... I actually want to adjust the opacity. So that's actually what I'm looking for. I could get into color dynamics and have it kind of bounce between, say, black and white. So this is what I'll do. Honestly, I don't know where, if you could even bounce between opacity, but here's a way around that, right? We can have it go ahead and bounce between the foreground and background color. Whoa, hello. Apply per tip. Like that. There we go. That looks fine. We can go into our different color modes, right? So our layer blend modes, if you will, not color modes. But for this layer right here, bring it up to the top, we can just get rid of the black and just keep the white. How we do that is this is the keep white section. This is just going to keep the blacks. So we can go to, say, lighten, for instance, or screen. Screen seems to do what we want it to, and now we can go ahead and paint, and it looks like it's painting with that transparency, right? Cool. You get it. You get it. Painting this like so. Let's go ahead and delete that. Let's make this brush much smaller and start painting this around and increasing the scattering like that. Just make it scatter a lot, right? There we go. Filling up this scene. Command J. Let's make this even smaller. I have it being scattered so much right now. These are a little small. Let's make it a little larger. Sorry, everybody. I'm just creating background snowflakes and then foreground snowflakes. So it might be kind of hard to see these ones, right? But I'm just kind of painting them in like so and making sure they're scattering all over the place. So that's kind of the idea. And we could adjust the count jitter. There we go. Anyways, just kind of making some background snowflakes. There we are. We have our background, our foreground, our midground, and then our foreground. And then we can do one more layer, which is going to be our foreground. Foreground, we're going to really crank this up a lot. There we go. Da, da, da. Maybe that's too much. Hey, why not? All right, screen. There we go. Let's convert this to a smart object. We'll convert this one to a smart object. I have a bunch of shortcut keys for this as well. We can take this background snowflakes and blur them out. We'll go to filter. We'll go down to, let's just go to Gaussian blur. Keep it simple. And we're blurring out those ones in the background, right? And we could always play with that. Since it's a smart object, right? We can always go in and change that later on. Let's do that with these foreground snowflakes. And again, just kind of blurring out the foreground snowflakes as well. Cool. We got a whole scene. You guys get the idea. Hey, Cheryl. What's up, Cheryl? Sorry, CH is not in the snowflake, but Cheryl Howard, basically, you know, just so you know, I was putting everybody's initials on these snowflakes, and then we turned that into a brush, or we painted them everywhere, and now we can have fun with, say, like a hand, or with some text as well. Okay, so a couple different things we can do. I want to do text really fast. And thanks for joining me this fine Friday, huh? What's up? I need some more coffee. Desperately. Snow is always magic as long as you don't have to clear your driveway. I agree. Little tip there. I hope your driveway faces south so the sun hits it and then it actually melts. If you're facing north, at least in North America, in the US, if you're facing north, that snow doesn't melt. All right, so let's do this. Let's get into this. Let's make this. Let's get some fun text in here, shall we? Hello. Winter. Play with this text. Right? Is everybody judging me? I would as well, right? We want to go with sort of more of a handwritten or an even decorative for this text. Boy, I got some horrible, there we go. Something kind of like this. Let's go with Quimby. I have some horrible text in here, I have to admit. Let's put this in front of some of that text. Change the color too. Like that. I like the idea of putting the letters into the snowflake. I might try with it. Okay, cool. Like, totally do this. This is the whole idea of just... You know, this could either be just some sort of social media message, something you post on Instagram or Facebook or wherever. Let's do a couple different things with this. Let's take this text and I want to make it look like it's kind of frozen. Maybe there's some motion to it. So let's just do this really fast. We'll go back into our serif. Kind of want to change this back to where it was. There we go. All caps, wait for it. Must hurry, all caps. I've been having a tough time. I took a couple days off and now don't know how to work a computer. Right, so let's take this. Maybe we want to make this look like wind blown. Okay, so kind of frozen. So let's take this text. I'll just duplicate it. I will rotate it. I'm going to make it small, right? Because this resolution is pretty high. Now let's take this text and go to filter, and we can go down to wind. The reason I rotated it is because wind only works sort of to the left and to the right. So we'll add wind to this, right? And now we have these like frozen icicles kind of coming off of it. So that's the idea. We have wind, and then we also have blast. Blast is really gonna actually give you pixels that are either on or off. So it's either white or transparent. Stagger just destroys the text, but you could always use a combination of these. So there we have it. We have wind from right, from left. You get the idea. But now we can go ahead and click OK. And this is sort of the idea of having some icicles kind of coming off of that text using wind. Oops. There we go. Let's rasterize this layer. Rotate it. Scale it up. You get the idea. And hopefully you can see that as well, right? We can always do a Command L with levels and should be able to like, actually it is all white, but we could do is Command J just to jump that layer, duplicate it a couple times, and then that stands out even more. As we can see, it says Hello Inner. Let's go ahead and merge these layers. You get the idea. Cool. Yeah, finally a use for rasterizing. Yeah, I wish the wind you could do sort of up and down as well. I wish you actually had a sort of like a rotation wheel that you could determine the angle of that wind. But nonetheless, here you have it. We could extend this down further as well. So we could take these tips right here and let's use the Smudge Tool. Smudge Tool between 60 and 80. Here's 82, by the way. Let's make this smaller. And we can grab some of these and pull them down even more. Okay, so we can have those long, lovely sort of icicles, if you will. Let's grab them, pull them down. Oops. Adjust your brush accordingly. Like that. Ugh. Cool. Ugh. How do you like it? Awesome. So thanks for joining me. I see you over there on YouTube. We see Facebook as well. What's up, Harry? Sup? So again, you have some of this. Some of it's not working. You can always erase some of it. It's getting a little wonky right in here for this N, but hopefully you'll forgive me. You can make this brush always a little smaller and just kind of pull that down as well. Make sure it's all kind of freezing and fun is the idea. Cool. Let's use that eraser actually. Yeah, I'm not afraid to use an eraser. Yeah, I'm just like messing with those pixels. You get the idea. Right? So again, just rotate the text, add a wind, rotate, you might need to rasterize it, rotate it back though, a little bit of the smudge brush, and there you have this text as you can see. And you can always sharpen it. So we'll go in to use the sharpen tool. As I sharpen this, right, it's going to make it just much more crisp rather than blurry. So just using the sharpen tool, yeah, I'm working destructively, but that's okay, right? And again, sharpen. You get the idea. Go back into the smudge tool because I'm like, oh, I should smudge this. There we go. Let's do the insides of the letters as well. Right? Shoop. Hello, winter, my old friend. All right. We got this. It looks a bit horror to me. Oh, yeah, that's true. It is kind of horror-ish. Which, again, that's a good point because now we have two uses for it. You know, we're not trying to make this look like blood. We're trying to just make this look like icicles. But, by the way, honestly, if you're ever going to try to make something look like icicles, guess what? Just go out there and find icicles, right? That's one thing I didn't do for this. And actually what I would do for this is I would make this look more... Let's do that right now. Let's make this look all frozen because right now it's flat. Let's add some dimension to this. So we're going to make this a smart object. We're going to add some layer styles. So we're just going to do a little bevel and emboss. Crank this up. And we can make it black or blue or whatever. I just need a lot of contrast in here. In fact, we'll even throw a gradient overlay over this. And change this to normal. There we are, right? We just want some nice gradients in here, right? So this is what I'm going to do. I know it looks ugly right now, right? But with that being said, we're going to go ahead and try to freeze this. We need these levels of grays in order to add some... right up here, filter gallery effects. So we'll go to filter, up to filter gallery. We'll select that. we will go into, we are looking for plastic bag. I don't know why. I can never remember where plastic bag is, but it's in here somewhere. Oh, plastic wrap. Sorry. That's why I can't find it. Plastic wrap. And here we have this plastic wrap. And by the way, what else looks good is chrome. Providing there's enough grays in here. Right now, there isn't enough grays to really make this stand out. Again, plastic wrap, you can kind of see what it's doing, but I don't have enough blacks in here, right? But again, I can click OK. See what that looks like. The great thing is I could always go back into my gradient overlay or some of these others, as you can see, and give it more blacks and more contrast. Let's give it some more depth. Let's maybe more of a size. There we go, kind of like that. And then take a look at the filter gallery. Let's actually do that. Make that a smart object. Wait for it. Filter gallery. There we go. All right, so this is the plastic wrap. It's getting a little corroded, but we can highlight the strength and the detail. So we can give this kind of more detail, crank this. I usually crank the strength and the detail all the way up, and then I play with the smoothness, right? But you can hopefully see what it's doing, right? Highlight strength, it goes from smooth to giving it more detail and more randomness. And then we can play with just smoothing out those edges. And it's all gonna depend on sort of your resolution. But I know this looks bad right now, not to worry, we'll click OK. I get it, it's black, it looks like horror, right? That's when we would jump in and we can go ahead and change this to say screen, for instance, right? So there's our lovely screen, right? As you can see, and then we can add an additional version, right? Command J to punch up those colors, but also to just change this. So we'll just go back to this one here, right? That has all this gorgeous filter gallery, plastic wrap, and also trichrome, by the way. And there's ripple. So if you want some even more randomness, you can go with ripple. All right, so for this one, what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to go ahead and give it also a color overlay. So color overlay, change it to blue. Right, just giving this just a blue tint, as you can see, and there you have it, right? Hello Winter looks still a little bit horror-ish, but again, just to kind of work with that opacity and everything. You guys get the idea. Yeah, so just looking at this makes you cold. You want to brighten something up and make it not look so cold. What I would actually do is I would create a new layer, and I'm just checking the time. I think we have a fun day today, guys. We only have like next week before it's Christmas. So, yeah, Jason's up next. 5 features in After Effects you must know. I love it. I want to participate in that. That's huge. You know, a lot of this is about the fundamentals, right? So this is what I would do. I would just throw in some lens flares. So black layer, go down to render, right? And then we'll do lens flare. So we'll just jump in, add that. This gives us its warmth, right? All we need to do is come in here and add this, change this to lighten, shrink this down, right? You get the idea. That's how I would add warmth, is just like have warmth kind of come from the sun, from like a highlight, as you can see. Okay, we'll turn on our snowflakes, which are in here. Snowflakes, snowflakes, snowflakes. Take this text, scale it up. Be careful when you scale things up with the, it looks even better when we scale it up. But when we scale things up, the text effects, or the filter gallery effects specifically, will be treated a little bit differently. So it spreads it amongst that larger surface. So you will get some more detail, and I think that's working out okay. Right, there we are. Zoop. Hello, cold winter. All right, you guys get the idea. I'm not crazy about the font, to be honest with you. But again, there's our one version. I'll take all these layers. Let's actually duplicate that. And let's just put this all, Command G. And here we have design one. Checking the time, we can have some more fun with this. Applying some of those similar effects, we can play with this some more. Okay. Ooh, somebody does have a birthday coming up. Marsha, do you have one? You probably know that mine is coming up. In 11 days. So, all right. So, let's take this. We could do the same thing. Again, we'll just jump this layer. We have this hand. We could do the same thing with this hand. What you could do is you can actually just take out the saturation, add some levels. So just like I was doing with the text, I was adding varying levels of black and white, right? I'm doing the same thing with this hand. This is going to get freaky. Now that I look at it, it's going to get a little freaky, right? Hey, Sam, you published a Snowflake project. That's awesome. Good, good. All right. Okay, Harry you like the wind feature. Love the ice effect. Awesome. The blue popped the effects for sure. Right, this is going to look scary, I think, and that's not what I wanted. But I think we could do a contrast between sort of like cold and warm. So let's give it a whirl. Same thing, we'll just convert this to a smart object. We'll go into our filter gallery, right? Here's what this initially looks like with plastic wrap applied to it. We can click OK and work with that. Again, it's repetition is a good thing. But we'll come in here, and for these, we can go ahead and change this to, say, overlay or something like that. I ultimately want to blend it with the hand behind it, right? So that's what I would jump in and do. Let's convert this to a smart object. This is going to be the color hand, and then we'll have the cold hand. Right? So turn that off. We can kind of see what we have there. Let's just grab some pixels, and we'll just quickly just kind of do some, I don't know, just some selection. Go ahead and get rid of that part and just have the hand. This is getting freaky. It's getting a little freaky. Maybe I don't know. I'll still play with this a lot. And that's the nice thing about Photoshop. I can change this at any point in time. Okay. Okay, so this color hand has this filter gallery applied to it. It's currently the plastic wrap is what is applied to it. But you can add multiples, so you don't need to duplicate a layer and apply a new effect to it. You could jump in and just click right down here and add. Pop. There we are. We have two plastic wraps on it, but I want one to be chrome. So we have chrome, and then we have plastic wrap as well. So feel free to try this. It's currently not looking too good, but I also know that there's glass in here. There's ocean ripple as well, and we can just kind of combine some of these effects if it works for us. Right? So our original plastic wrap, ocean ripple, maybe adds just a little bit of randomness to it. I'll make those ripple sizes maybe a little larger. Okay, click OK. Then we have that hand. We do the same thing here. Yes, it does have a very Game of Thrones feel. Yes, it does. Okay. Okay, so add all filters button. There is not an add all filters button, because that would just be a button that would just like, it should just be called make it look ugly. I'm just messing with you. Ooh, we'll do freezing flames. I wanted to do flames, a flames hand, and then a frozen hand. But let me move through this. Let's add an adjustment layer. This is a master class, so it's okay that I'm jumping into gradient map, for instance. Gradient map. So I have all these blacks and whites, and I want to change them from like a dark blue to like a more warmer blue. So two different blues. So when we add the gradient map, we can do that. We can select, say, one of these, like so, and it's taking those dark tones, right, and making them more purple, and the lighter tones, sort of the whites, it's going to make it that blue. But we also need to clip it. So let's clip it. Bam! Just apply it to that hand like so. Right, so now we have that frozen hand that we can work with, right? And the cool thing is we get to change this at any point in time. That's right. Of course, it'd be silly if we couldn't, but I think that looks pretty good. We have our frozen hand. Let's make our hot hand, if you will. Okay. And by the way, what I would do with this is it still needs... Yeah, let's just reference. Let's just do this really fast. Let's frozen ice. Of course, what ice isn't frozen? But let's just take a look at a reference photo, right in here. Just did a quick Google. We have this texture. We have this texture right here, which looks way cool. And I'm thinking, oh, is there something out there that I could use? Right, let's go to search Adobe Stock. Let's search for frozen. There we are. Sweet. Let's see if I have some stock credits because I want to buy this. Nice thing is I only need to buy it once. Oh, I love all of this. It'll put it in your current library. There it is, frozen background. Oh yeah, that's a reference photo. Right? This is more like it, folks. All right, let's take this. Guess what? Let's drop it. Bam. Right on top of this hand, right? And there we go. Let's kind of rotate this around. Let's do something like that. I would actually distort this hand, and that looks really good. I would actually like start to bend this because these cracks are all flat. It's cool that this, by the way, so let's turn this off. We have that being applied, then we have this on top. So turning that on, this is just set to lighten. Right, so we could actually still see that filter gallery inside of there, that hand, even though it's definitely still applying it. Anyways, you guys get the idea. B for brush. Change this back to the default, so we'll reset this tool. Paint with a little bit of black, just to kind of get rid of other parts. Anyways, let's make our other frozen hand. I'm not crazy about this part down here. This needs to have depth, so there needs to be shadowing, and this is something I need to think about. Is it going to have cracks, right? So it's freezing the skin. I have to work on this part, which I'm not going to sweat right now. But let's go ahead and see if I can just grab another hand really fast and light it up. I have this hand. Oh, this might work, right? Remove background, right? It didn't quite get everything. That's okay. Yeah, that's right. I'm gonna use the quick selection tool. Does my job for me for this part. Ice rink. What's up, Steve? Mercurial, how the heck are you guys doing, huh? Happy Friday to us. I'm getting more and more excited. Is everybody ready for the holidays? If you celebrate them, I don't know if you've done all your Christmas shopping, if you do that sort of thing, or your Hanukkah shopping, or whatever. But yeah, get that done. We are days away, folks. For this, I might want to choke it a little bit more, right? Double click. I'm now within the select and mask mode of Photoshop. A lot of people, this is what they use the refine edge tool for, right? But what you can do is you can just go over here and say, hey, you know what, let's just shift this edge. So I'm shifting that edge in, and it'll just grab some of those pixels. It chokes it, is what's happening, right? So we can just choke that a little bit, click OK, gets rid of some of that white, convert to a smart object, get it out of here. And then we get to work on our second hand. There we go. All right, cool. All good over there. Yeah, Steve being in New Zealand. And I only have a couple minutes left, so let's grab this. I'm gonna make this go hopefully pretty fast. We have this hand. I'd probably adjust the contrast. So I jump in there and sort of work with the levels. I tint this a blue, so if I want to tint this blue, I'll jump down here. I can add a photo filter on top of it and add just a nice cooling filter. And the great thing is I could jump in and pick that specific background color if I want to as well. All right, so let's just go in there. Let's grab nice blue. Make sure it's clipped to just that hand, and we've just tinted it. Let's crank up that density. But there we go. We've actually just tinted that hand more of a blue. So that works out great. I'm not only going to do it for that hand, but I'm going to do it to the this wrist, sort of this elbow, this section of forearm, actually. Right? So we've made that look cold. That looks better. This one actually might be warmer. We'll change that in a second, but let's just jump in and let's create a new layer. P for pen. Let's just use the pen tool and kind of go around like that. Zoop, like that. Down, like that, and up, and then down, and then over, like that. Just quickly creating a nice line, as you can see. So for this line, this specific path, I want to save it. If I actually selected it first. Make this a path. There we go. Let's go new layer. Let's go to filter. We will go down to flame. So right in here, takes that path, and we're just turning it into a nice little flame. So we can see basic flame type, multiple flames in one direction, as in it's going up, right? We're not even going to mess with this too much, right? You could always play with these settings all day long, right? Make them longer, shorter, hit this reset button to get it back to where it was, okay? So I could maybe make it a touch longer, just for fun. Click OK, and there's our hand on fire, if you will. Okay. From there, we can play with this some more. Yeah, do you guys like Christmas? I like Christmas, but man, I also like things clean. And I'm like, you got boxes everywhere. I got stuff hidden around. Just like, oh, I want to kind of clean up stuff at this point. Okay, so we have that. We can have some more fun with the pen tool. Let's check. Oh, I'm down to my last minute. Nonetheless, that's the start of our flame. Really was not the goal of ours. I would add a nice glow to it. It maybe be melting the fingers, but I'm going to work on this concept some more and post it to Instagram. Because now that I look at this from a concept, what would work well for this design is to have this person completely cold. Okay, so an ice hand with lots of cracks that I would add. And then you have this person with this flame that's slowly melting the fingers. So I think that would be the ultimate goal of this one. But again, we have design number 2 done now. And let's not forget about design number 1. 2 designs in 1 hour. I think we did a pretty good job overall. Hope you learned some things. And I'm going to turn it over to Jason now. Thank you so much. Happy holidays, everybody. I will see you next week, and look for this stuff on Instagram, PTRANI. And thank you, Clarissa. Really appreciate all of you. So thank you so much, and I will turn it over to Jason. Thanks so much, everyone.